This is the Say It Can't Gamer, and you are live with the MMA Holes!
Mixed Martial A-Holes! MMA Holes, MMA Holes, MMA Holes, MMA Holes, MMA Holes. You like to be a mixed martial A-hole. MMA holes, MMA holes, MMA holes, MMA holes, MMA holes.
Boom, 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 boom.
No way.
Oh!
From the Queen Studios of New York. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, 14-1 pro fighter Nick Newell is live with the MMA Holes. Yes! What's up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? I hope you are all wonderful, wonderful. It is Monday, TGIM. That's right, the MMA Holes Hour is what we call this shit show tonight. And we have a special guest tonight. You heard it in the intro, and now I'm going to show you his face. Here he is, the one, the only, Nick Newell, live on the MMA Holes. Nick, what's going on tonight?
How's it going, man? Thanks for having me on. All
right, man. No, I'm doing wonderful, as we like to say over here. Now, let me explain what's going on. We have a live chat going on over there, and you are right there. I can see you. We can see you nice and clear from FAA, this wonderful gym. We've had some fighters on before from the gym, and now we have the head honcho here. We have the main event of the evening, Nick Newell. Is it an honor? I mean, you've been on TMZ. You've been on Ariel Helwani. You've been all over the place, but now you're on the MMA Holes. What is going through your mind right now?
You know, the whole experience is very underwhelming, or experience, and that's the only word I can really use to describe it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's usually what we get over here. It's underwhelming. That's true. Now, I want to give a quick backstory. Tell that person to keep it down in the background. Jesus, we're trying to run a swole show over here. We might have to.
Okay.
That's all right. Anyway, I want to tell a quick story before we get this interview started over here. Nick Newell is a badass, all right? Nick Newell, 14-1. A lot of people know who Nick is. He's all over the news right now. But I have to tell a quick story. There was a UFC event. It was McGregor versus Seaver. It was in Boston, and I had the chance to meet Nick. Now, I'm sure you remember this day like it was yesterday, right? We got to meet. You took a picture with me, right? It's of course, right? No? Maybe.
Yes.
Check it out, chat room. I'm showing the chat, and I met him in the hallways over here. Now, I want to tell a quick story. When I saw Nick fight, Nick was an inspiration to me. We run a traveling circus over here, but I'm going to get serious for 1 second over here. I was actually starstruck when I met you the first time. I was like, holy shit, this is fucking really cool. This is a man over here that is battling through a disability and just whooping ass. Not only whooping ass, collecting belts and collecting checks over here. What is it like? I have to know, to be able to kick a man's ass with one arm.
I don't know what's it like doing it with two. This is basically all I know, and the life that I know and how I've lived my whole life. So I don't really know any other way. 1 second, my gym's.
Yeah, what the hell is going on here? This is ridiculous. This is insane. How dare they interrupt us? What is in the background over there? Okay, here we go. All right.
Everyone was just done training. Oh, over here, I sell rash cards out of my gym.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it looks awesome over there. Now, we've had Justin over here, Justin Sumter, in your gym over there. Badass Justin. Everyone's a huge fan of Justin. And now, having you on, it is a big honor. We've had you on briefly at CES, and we see you at events over there, and you do a great job cornering these fighters. But now you're back in the cage, and it's got to be an overwhelming experience, a feeling. You went out on a 2-fight win streak, and you just felt that the game is done, right? You were done with the game, and then you come back after 3 years. What was going through your mind coming back into that cage?
I don't know. I was just there to have some fun, to be honest with you. I miss competing, and I miss making that walk, and I just wanted to go out there and do my thing, and that's exactly what I did. Honestly, I wasn't really too overcome with emotion. I had my plan of what I would like to have done in the fight, and I did exactly that. And then, I gave my speech that I had prepared, because before every fight, I prepare a victory speech, because I truly believe that I'm going to win, and I believe in my own ability. So I gave my speech, and I came in like a man with a job to do. I wasn't overly underhyped. I came in just with laser like focus, ready to do a job that I had. You know, I mean, you don't show up to work every day, fucking ready to kick down the walls like a maniac. You show up and you have a plan of what you want to do, and you go about it the smartest way possible. And that's the way I treated this fight.
It was LFA 35. It was a first round neck crank, and it was very impressive. We actually watched it. We did a little fight reaction to that event, and man, oh man, I tell you what, you've looked better than ever. At 32 years old, with that time off, you looked fantastic in the cage. It looked like it was effortless. Now everyone is calling UFC for Nick Newell. They were saying it before, and I remember Dana White back in the day saying, no, we're not going to let him go into the cage. I wouldn't let him go in there and get beat up, and it wouldn't look right, and blah, blah, blah. But you are a 14-1 pro fighter. I mean, with 11 out of those 14 wins, finishes, 9 submissions, two KOs. I mean, how are you not in the UFC? I can't understand this.
Yeah, that's whatever. Life's not fair. I'm in a little bit of a different situation. I think we live in a world where people worry too much about what people will say and what people will think. And they're like, well, what if he gets his ass kicked? Well, I think they think it will look bad if a one-handed guy loses, but it's not like 1 or I'm 0-0 or 1-0 or 2-0. And you know, if I get my ass kicked, I do. I've earned the right to get my ass kicked, I feel. And I do not think that I will get my ass kicked. I think that I will do really well. And I think that I could crack the top 15 within a year. And then who knows from there.
Mm-hmm. Nick Newell's live with the MMA Holes. It's exciting to have you on here. Now, okay, we have this thing with this whole situation, okay? There is one arm, and you're finishing guys. Now, I've heard, like, different sides of the story here. Some people say, well, who would want to get in the cage with a guy with one arm? And then other people's, I actually heard people say that it's almost an advantage for you to not to submit fighters because of your situation. Have you heard this? And what is your retaliation to that?
Just like anything, man. You have your advantages and your disadvantages. I definitely don't think it's like some major advantage, but I make the most out of what I do, and I don't think it's as big a disadvantage as people look into it. I actually don't really look into it too much at all. I just worry about myself and what I have to do, like I said, to get the job done. Dollar guy, I punch the clock and I go to work. I don't think, oh my God, this is an advantage. This is an advantage. You'll never hear me screaming, oh, look at what I've overcome. Look at what I've done. Yeah. You know, like I'm just a dude that has a goal and you know, a dream to be one of the best fighters in the world. And
you gonna wrap one on one shoulder?
Now, Nick, we have a donation coming in over here from T-Man.
A fucking army to come take them belts off me.
A one-armed fighter that is totally badass and awesome. First off, shout out to the MMA.
There you go.
Holes and Nick never stop fighting, dude. You seem fucking amazing.
Thank you, T-Man, for the donation. Now, T-Man has a situation of his own, actually. I'm not sure of what the disability is called, but he's in a situation himself, and he makes the best of it. He does DJing on YouTube, and he's overcoming an obstacle in his life. So, T-Man, thank you so much for that. I do appreciate it. We take donations from disability children. T-Man, stop donating. Anyway, Nick, what do you have to say about that? A lot of people are inspired by your story, and it has to humble you when you hear these things from people that actually have disabilities or whatever is in their life troubling them.
Yeah, it's super cool. You know, I didn't start like, oh, I'm going to prove this or I'm going to prove that. It's just something that I always believed was possible. You know, I had Jim Abbott growing up who I looked up to, and people are saying they look up to me like I looked up to him, you know, so like that makes me feel really good. And, you know, any way I can help and inspire someone is an awesome thing. You know, I every year I spend and kids come from all over the country to meet me and a bunch of other, you know, successful people that have gone out and done their own thing despite having one hand. And, you know, it's cool. I like kids, and I like even adults. I like sharing my story and contributing any way I can to do stuff like that, you know?
Now, everyone in the chat, I keep on seeing this over and over again. They're saying that they want to see you fight Floyd Mayweather. Not only do they want you to come into the UFC, they want you to go after a Floyd Mayweather. I mean, what is your answer to this? Would you fight Floyd Mayweather? Would you want to make that your debut in the UFC? Would you look forward to something like that?
To me, that's the #1 fight that I want. I think if you really want to come over to MMA, like come through me. That's okay. My style's a nightmare for him. Absolute nightmare. He'll never fight me in a million years. But I think that is a fight that I would be very, very interested in to represent the sport of MMA and wrestling and everything that he's not. I am.
Floyd Mayweather versus Nick Newell. I mean, who wouldn't want to watch that? I mean, everyone would sign up for that shit. I mean, you have CM Punk in the UFC. People are like, if CM Punk could be in the UFC, why the hell is Nick Newell not in the UFC? And then they're saying Artem Lobov. If Artem Lobov's in the UFC, why not Nick Newell in the UFC? Like, people are saying these things, trying to compare and say that you should be in the UFC over other fighters in the UFC. But now we're seeing other fighters, Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, Frankie Edgar. We see people coming out saying, yeah, you deserve to be in the UFC. What goes through your mind when you see your colleagues, you see these other fighters out there putting their neck out on the line, say, yeah, get this guy in the UFC?
Real recognize real. I fought Justin and I had a competitive first round. Some people even gave me the first round. He beat me in a second, but whatever. And he's fought a lot of world-class guys, and I think he knows that I'm capable. And Dustin, I've trained with a lot, and he's a very, very good fighter. So if he thinks I'm capable, that says a lot to me. And there's just, you can see a real fighter. Real fighters can see a real fighter. They don't see a guy with one hand. They see a guy with skill. And that's the way that I've always looked at me. I never looked at myself as a one-handed guy that fights. I look at myself as a guy that fights that happens to have one hand. So it's that's the way to look at it. And I'm getting a lot of respect from my peers and the industry, guys to say, oh, who would want to fight them? And then I got guys saying, fuck it, I'll fight that guy. And that means a lot to me.
Do you feel that guys like get into the cage and it's kind of a lose-lose situation? Like if they lose to a guy with one arm. If they win, they beat up a guy with one arm. What do you have to say when knuckleheads say stuff like that?
Yeah, no, it is a lose-lose situation because
You're gonna
if
wrap
you
one on
fight
one
me,
shoulder.
you lose.
Hold
I'm sorry, hold on 1 second.
You're gonna need a fucking army.
Just donated.
Come take them belts off me.
Let's see what he says.
I am the only person to ever shut down Nick Newell. Nick the MMA Holes host is a dick. Writing bitch, just hang up on him and do something productive.
How dare you, Zach? Zach is making fun of me. Anyway, go back. Fuck you, Zach, and thank you for the $2.
It's lose-lose because if you fight me, you're just gonna lose. That's it.
Well, yeah.
That's the only option is to lose.
So it is a lose-lose situation then. Then you're
yeah, because you're gonna lose.
Yeah.
So that's
Fair
like the
enough.
only option is that you lose.
Yeah.
It's just a lose situation.
Yeah. Well, we're live with Nick Newell. Nick Newell is a badass 14-1 pro MMA fighter looking to get into the UFC. And there's rumblings that you signed with a new manager, or you're working with another manager now that happens to be Justin Gaethje's manager. Can you elaborate on this situation?
Yeah, so I have a manager that I've used for many, many years who's a great guy, and he's awesome, and I'm going to work with him forever because he does just such an amazing job. But I needed someone that had a lot of leverage, a lot of say, and a guy that had the connections. I just needed one more person on my team. So I added Ali I can't even say his last name, Al Betaziz, or I don't know. I've known him from World Series of Fighting. He's someone that's always kind of actually had my back and stuck up for me. And when I, at a time when Justin Gaethje was hot, nobody wanted to fight him. And I said, fuck that. I'll fight him. I don't care, and they were like, oh, we don't want Nick to fight Justin because they're the two biggest guys we have, and we want to build them up, and Nick needs to do this and that. And he said, no, give the guy a chance, and he's the one that made sure I got that fight, and I lost, but it's like, still, I wanted that fight. So he always believed in me, and that's why I'm working with him.
It's the only blemish, right? Is a TKO in the second round. And I mean, that was a crazy fight. You guys were going at it in that fight. And you fought a ranked UFC fighter. Justin Gaethje is a proven badass over there. So the one blemish on your record is to a guy like that. Would you love to get a rematch with him?
Yeah, if they offered me a fight against him 100 times, I'd take it 100 times. I'm not here to cherry pick or do anything like that. I mean, I want fights that are going to move me up the rankings and build my star. I mean, obviously, if some guy that does nothing for me comes and wants to fight me, I'm going to be like, dude, like, come on, but I have, I just turned 32, but I still have a few more years in me, but I want to make these years count.
Sure. Now, do
So
you
I
feel
would
like
fight him if they offered that as my first fight. I would take it.
so you would take that right now? So now, I mean, you're 32. Some may say that you're in your prime, right? 32 years old. You've been there. You've been through the storm. This is, I mean, you look fantastic in your last fight. Would you say if they're like, here you go?
You're gonna wrap one on one shoulder,
here comes.
you're gonna wrap the other on the other shoulder, and you're
Hold on
gonna
a
need a
second.
fucking army
Let's see.
to come take them belts
Zach
off
is
me.
back.
Justin fouled Nick at least 5 times hard knees to the head while Nick was down. Don't forget
Hold on a second.
that you dick riding bitch host.
Thank you, Zach. That's really nice of you. He says you fouled Justin Gaethje with knees. What is he talking about here, Zach? Zach, get a life. Anyway, he's saying you fouled.
No, he fouled me.
Mhm.
Hit me in the head while I was on the ground, but honestly, I don't think he did it on purpose.
Yeah.
And it's whatever, man. I came back, I got back up after it, and I kept fighting. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna make a big deal out of it. He won. He was a better man that day, and I sound like I complained about the fight, but I thought I came off as like kind of being a little bitch. So I kind of took a step back from that,
Mhm.
and I actually we're cool, you know. So it's whatever. He won, and if I got knee in the head, if I didn't get knee in the head, it doesn't matter. He won, and that's that, you know.
Yeah, well, and you were saying that there was an injury too that you were battling throughout the fight too, right? There was something you injured your leg.
Yeah, I just sound like a bitch when I talk like that, though.
Yeah.
You know, I just saying that my last couple camps, I had a bunch of injuries that built up, and that's that.
There you go. We're live with Nick Newell, live on the MMA Holes, 14-1 pro fighter. Now, I want to just go back a second here. I've heard a lot of stories about, you know, your rise, but I don't know why you got into mixed martial arts. I mean, dealing with what you're dealing with, right? Growing up, were you bullied, or what made you decide to just get into a combat sport? What was the reason for that?
Growing up, I always wanted to be a Ninja Turtle, a Ghostbuster, a pro wrestler. Those were like my 3 favorite things. So, my neighbor, right before I got to high school, we were watching a lot of wrestling, and he said he was going to join the wrestling team, but we were watching WWE wrestling, not real wrestling. And I was like, okay, whatever, I'll join the wrestling team. And I just joined the wrestling team, and it kind of took off. And then when I got to college, I discovered MMA, and I kind of started training that, and I got hooked to that as well, you know. So when I graduated, I still wanted to compete, so I started fighting.
Yeah, well, I mean, it seems like a quick rise for you too. I mean, you were pretty young when you got into the sport. You've been doing this for a long time, since 2009 as a pro. When did you start AMI fighting?
I had 3 fights, 3 amateur fights. The reason why I went pro real soon was because I beat really good guys amateur, you know, and I thought I was ready. The times were a little different. Now you have to get a few more amateur fights before you go pro, but I felt good, and I felt like I was ready. And there was no athletic commission back then, so I wanted to turn pro before the athletic commission came in, so they couldn't be like, well, you only have one hand, you should just fight amateur. It's not a good idea to go pro. So it was important to me that I turn pro before they came, so I could already be like already winning as a pro.
Do you think that they pushed you pro quick too because of the situation? It would have got ratings, and because you had skill with this, they could have.
You're gonna wrap one on one shoulder.
Hold on, we got
you're gonna
Vlad.
wrap the other on the other shoulder,
Vlad
and you're
joining
gonna
me.
need a fucking army to come take them belts off me.
Loki been looking at some old painting of Mary Magdalene, and damn, she must have been stupid thick. Wouldn't mind her throwing that ass my way.
Do you think that Mary Magdalene is hot? Be honest, Nick.
I don't really know.
Yeah, I
who
don't
that
know.
is.
It's a religious show. I don't even know what they're fucking doing. Nick is married, by the way. Congratulations on how is married life?
Is that the Virgin Mary?
Yeah, well, Mary Magdalene was when I think they threw stones at her. I think that's what happened. Not Jesus' mom, the one that was kind of like a floozy. I don't know if you're familiar with the Catholic religion, but I think she was a floozy.
Oh no, I'm not.
She got around. Anyway, how's married life?
My wife is Catholic. I am not.
Oh, okay. And everything's going good. No divorce papers yet. You guys are still together. Everything's fine.
She surprises me every day. I kind of expect every night when I come home for her to be ready to serve me those papers, but but not yet. No, she's awesome. She's amazing. I could do a whole podcast talking about how amazing of a person she is. Very successful, driven woman. Beautiful, athletic, you know, the whole package. So I mean, I sound like a turd when I say stuff like that, but I definitely scored. I'm a lucky guy, and she scored too because she, you know, got the hottest dude on the planet.
Sure. Well, second on it. I mean, I'm here. But now, is it tough for her? I mean, listen, you're a pro fighter. You're a pro athlete, right? Is it tough for her? Like, I'm sure there's just pussy being thrown at you left and right. Like, what does she do? Does she show up at the events and watch you fight with a stick ready to beat some bitches? Or how does it work?
She doesn't care. She knows I'm not gonna do anything stupid or cheat on her or anything like that. So it's not really a big deal. She knows like stuff like that happens, and I think I like post enough about her and how much I love her that I don't really get too many messages, you know.
Check out Nick Newell. It's at Notorious Newell. Check him out on Instagram, Twitter. He's on Facebook as well. Now, it's I tell you what, I do watch you on social media, and you guys seem like you are completely in love, and it's fantastic. It's refreshing to see. But more importantly, I saw that you're done with The Walking Dead. You've had enough, it looks like. You're watching it, but you don't know why you're watching it. I saw one of your stories over there. I watched it.
Yeah,
the same
fucking
thing.
sucks.
Explain to me what is going on with this show. Has it hit the wall?
No, the last, you mean Jump the Shark?
Yeah.
The last one wasn't bad.
No?
It wasn't bad.
So what do you think of this Negan storyline? Not to spoil anything. Do you think he's going to be a good guy or a bad guy or something like that? He's going to join the team? What's going on? Are they going to kill him?
No, he's just such a fucking turd. Like, who would listen to that guy? Like, that's like, it's more unrealistic that someone in his like regime wouldn't just shoot him in the fucking head and everyone would be like, okay, cool, now we can be normal. You know, like it's more realistic for like zombies to be walking around eating people than for someone not to kill that dude within his own team.
Yeah, it's kind of gotten crazy, and like you said, jump the shark. That's a Happy Days term right there. Yeah, it has jumped the shark. The show it's gone way too long.
You're gonna wrap one on one shoulder.
Hold on a second. What we got here?
Wrap the other on the other shoulder, and you're gonna need a fucking army to come take them belts off me.
Okay, here we go.
Team Will Smith, Cage Titans 135-pound champ.
There you go. Team Will Smith, Cage Titans 135-pound champ. What do you say about that, Nick?
I say he is a 135-pound champ. He's one of my students, Will Smith, and he's an absolute animal. He's 5-1, and he's about to win his the Cage Titans 135-pound title on April 14th in Plymouth, Mass. You should go. It's going to be a great show. There's a lot of awesome fights, and he's definitely like one of the most savage dudes. He'll run you across the. He's a 135-pounder. He's massive. He's got an awesome double leg, good jab, and he's just unpredictable. And his dreadlocks fly all over the place. You can't even tell what's coming at you.
Let's talk about the gym a little bit. When did you start FAA? Is it your brainchild here? Tell me a little bit more about the gym.
So it's kind of mine, but it's FAACT I own, and I have a good crew of fighters, but also the name came from Fighting Arts Academy in Springfield, Massachusetts. So I own one in West Haven, and my coach owns one in Springfield, Massachusetts, and there's another one in Fitchburg, Mass. So there's 3 of them. And my coach out of Springfield, I basically took his name and opened up my own gym.
Oh, okay, so I see what you're saying there. Nick Newell is live with the MMA Holes. FAA is the gym. And when we started this channel, we only been on for a year and a half. We had Justin the Fort Sumter, who was our first pro fighter ever on here. Now, I mean, this guy in your gym, complete badass. He did that little video with the head kicks, which has been all over the place. I'm sure you're sick of hearing about you can't block head kicks and all that bullshit. But now you show a video that you can actually block head kicks, and Justin the Fort Sumter was helping you out. How hard does Justin the Fort Sumter kick? How hard does this man kick?
Yeah, I don't know, because I don't let him kick me as hard as he can. I'm chill out. I want to have kids one day. I want to start a family, so I can't have this dude kicking me full force.
So he takes it easy on you. I mean, this guy is something else. He really is something else. Justin Sumter, who's on a tear right now. What, a 6-fight win streak out of your gym? It seems like all you have is badasses over here. Will Justin fight on a card with Nick Newell? Would you guys do that together? Are you looking to do something like that?
I'd rather not, because I'm his coach. So I'd like to give him the most attention that I can give him, and kind of be there for him. And I feel like me fighting on the same card would kind of be a distraction, you know. Of course, we have a wonderful team and people that could corner him if I wasn't there. But, you know, I'd rather fight on different cards, but the same show. Just different cards.
There you go. Nick Newell live with the MMA Holes. And listen, I said it in the beginning of the interview that I'm a big fan, inspired by Nick, and he's overcome so many obstacles, and he makes it look good. He makes it look easy. I mean, super easy. You go in there and you just
You're gonna wrap
take care
one
of
on
work.
one shoulder, and gonna
We
wrap the other
have
on the other
Zach is
shoulder,
back.
and you're gonna need a
There we go.
fucking army to come take them belts off
See
me.
what Zach has to say.
Fuck a head kick. I want to see a video of Nick blocking a triangle.
Okay, so fuck a head kick. He wants to see you blocking a triangle. Nick, what do you have to say about this?
Never been triangled in competition. You know, I'm a black belt in jiu-jitsu. I'm a college wrestler, and I can. I'm actually very hard to triangle. So you can't block something that like no one can get on you.
Is there a
You're
situation?
gonna wrap one on one shoulder,
Jesus,
and
they're
wrap
coming
the
in
other on the
hot.
other shoulder,
Justin
and
Fultz
you're gonna need a
jumping in.
fucking army to come take them belts off
All
me.
right, Justin Fultz says.
What's up, you cocksuckers? I fucking love you all like my bitch, especially you, Chris.
Thank you, Justin. Justin loves all of us.
Hey, one second. I'll be right back. Someone just walked in my gym.
Okay.
It'll be under a minute.
All right, sounds good. All right, so Nick Newell live with the MMA holes. I saw that Justin called me up. I don't know what Justin was calling up about, but I'm gonna open up the full. Hey, you called? No, I didn't call Justin. That's weird. Justin was calling me up. Anyway, we're live with Nick Newell on the MMA Holes Hour. Get your questions in the chat, and I will be opening up the phone lines very shortly. A 14-1 pro fighter over here. We're looking to get him into Bellator. I mean, that's the way to go, right? Not Bellator. Hello, the UFC. Or just get him somewhere. I mean, let's go, man. What is the UFC waiting for? They need to get Nick Newell involved. Over
Okay,
here.
I'll see you.
All right. Here he goes. There he is. Nick, welcome back. I'm just showing your Instagram over here. And what is the hashtag? Is there a hashtag going around to get you into the UFC? What is it? Nick to the UFC, Newell to UFC. What are we looking at? What should we hashtag to get you into this UFC?
Is it on? Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Newell to UFC. Hashtag Newell to UFC, or just in general, Newell World Order.
Okay, there you go. Guys, shoot a hashtag over there. Tag at Notorious Newell. Notorious, where did you get that name? I know everyone's comparing you to Conor McGregor, the Notorious, but you are just Notorious, correct?
Yeah, he fucking took my nickname. I was on TV in the United States first, you know? I had no idea who he was when I started fighting. I had that nickname since I started as an amateur, and he's the Notorious. I'm Notorious. It sounds better on me, Notorious Nick Newell, but he's the most famous fighter of all time. So I guess I got to tip my hat to him on that one. But I mean, who gives a fuck? Doesn't name the beast in the pit bull. Why is everyone giving me a fucking hard time? It's a nickname, and it sounds better on me anyway.
That's true. It does. It sounds fantastic.
I'll fight him, you know. I'll fight him.
Would you fight him, McGregor? No, I mean, of course, anyone would fight him, right? I mean, the money right alone. I mean, even if you thought you didn't have a chance, why wouldn't you step in a cage with him, right? But, I mean, what would you say? Say, hypothetically speaking, Nick Newell goes to the UFC, which you are going to the UFC because I see these tinks. Conor McGregor gets thrown at you. He doesn't want to retire. He doesn't want to ride off in the sunset. He's like, I'll fight Nick Newell. What would happen in that fight? Honestly, from deep down in your heart, where do you see that fight going if you were to fight a Conor McGregor?
I definitely have to watch out for his counter. I would have to kind of pressure him. He's a lefty, so I'd have to work my jab, get inside, and take him down to the ground, you know?
What is the most difficult type of fighter to fight for you?
I don't know. I fought everyone, so it doesn't really matter. I'm a well-rounded fighter, so I'm good at just beating people where they're not good.
Zero fear. Is Rob Anulli, is he going to the UFC? Be honest. He's not watching, of course, but is he going to the UFC, this guy? Is he ever going to be a UFC fighter?
How you know Rob?
I know these people. I'm like Mystic Moss over here. I know everything. I know it all. No, he's in the chat a lot. He pops in a lot over here, so I know he trains with you guys. And
Oh man,
what's his
yeah,
name?
Rob's gonna make it for sure.
Yeah, he's gonna be the next McGregor. That's what I'm
100%.
hearing.
He's going.
Yeah,
He's going. He is McGregor.
He is McGregor.
He's gonna one day. McGregor's gonna no show, and he's gonna fill in.
Yeah. Nick Newell live with the MMA holds. It's quite an honor to have you over here.
I will say this: Rob calls in. Rob is a beast, and he's just 2 years in, you know, and he comes in, he works hard, and he does his thing. So I'm really proud of him, and he's someone I really enjoy having in the gym.
Besides you at the gym, who's the guy to look out for? Who is the guy to look?
At the gym?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say because then people listening won't want to fight them.
No one's watching. So, but you had one ride or die. One person in a zombie apocalypse.
If you come, if you come to my gym and on any given day you can find fucking 12 people that are just absolute savages. So to just pick one of them out, be like a
super
travesty, you know. So
chat.
Yeah. All right, hold on.
I can
If
give
he
you,
thinks he's
I'd have
beating
to like
Floyd,
stop
he's
and
lost his
write on a
mind
list
just like his
to
left
tell you all the
hand.
people that are fucking insanely good at my gym.
Yeah, you do have a bunch of killers over there at FAA. Pulse Reloaded says if he thinks he's beating Floyd, he's lost his mind. Well, I don't want to say the right, left. Well, he says like his left hand, but what do you think? I mean, people saying that you can't beat Floyd Mayweather. What would you say to that? You said in the beginning of the interview you have no problem fighting Floyd Mayweather. I mean, why do you think he can't beat Floyd Mayweather? For God's sakes, your ground game is tight as fuck. What? I mean, what is your counter to that?
I could run at him and fucking jump guard and beat him. You know, like it doesn't matter. But he's never stopped my takedown.
Yeah.
Like me, what's he gonna do? He stands Philly shell. I'd grab his leg, toss him on his ass. He might as well start the fight on his butt.
is that how yeah, I can't see him having a shot against you either, to be completely honest. And I'm not dick riding over here, but I see in the chat a lot of people
in a boxing match he'd fuck me up, but like when we're talking MMA, he's talking MMA. I'm not talking boxing.
What do you think about boxing and mixed martial arts? Like a lot of people, there are purists of boxing, there are purists of mixed martial arts.
It's stupid. If you do one or the other, someone that does that is going to beat your ass. If you're an MMA guy and you go to boxing, you're going to lose. And if you're a boxer and you go to MMA, you're going to lose, you know, unless you fight someone that fucking sucks, you know. Every once in a while there's guys like, I know Ray Mercer threw a bomb and knocked out Tim Sylvia, you know, but he also got submitted by Kimbo. So it is what it is, man. It's kind of a stupid, like, what if thing that everyone wonders about. But as soon as you talk about fighting a boxer, I'm like, oh, I'll fight Floyd Mayweather, and then everyone fucking gets interested because there's this aura around it.
Nick Newell live with the MMA holes. Now, what if Bellator came calling? Scott Coker's like, hey Nick, fuck the UFC. Course. You would do Bellator?
Yeah, let's why not? You know, Bellator runs a great show, so you know, I'd definitely be interested in fighting in Bellator. That's a good league over there, man. They come to Connecticut a lot, and I really like the product, so of course.
There you go. Nick Newell live in the MMA holes. What is the dream fight for Nick Newell? If you had to say one fight that you always wanted to have happen, what would be your dream fight?
Like well, now, I mean, everyone's talking about Floyd Mayweather, so I want to do that fight because I make a fucking ton of money. So I'd say that's my dream fight. Obviously, you know, to if I could fight for a UFC title would be amazing. I have a lot of work cut out for me, and I have a lot to do to get there, though. My first goal is just to get there and start winning, you know. So I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but obviously that would be a great opportunity. And then, you know, I don't like to call anyone out, but I just like fighting, man. There's not a certain person I look at that I'm like, fuck that guy, I want to fight that. That's my dream fight, you know?
Yeah.
I just don't really care. I do it for fun, and I'm a martial artist before I'm a fighter, and I'll fight whoever.
Now, everyone in the chat, I don't know why, they want to know who you think Khabib versus Tony Ferguson, who wins that fight. Everyone needs to know from you. What do you think about that fight?
You know, shout out to both those guys because they both support me getting to the UFC. Tony Ferguson, you know, gave me his approval, and Khabib and I, now we're working with the same manager. He wants me in, and, you know, it's, I like both those guys. I think stylistically it comes down to whether Tony can catch Khabib or if Khabib can control Tony from top, but I don't see Tony submitting Khabib off his back.
Darth Bane wants to know, piggybacking off of this, how would you deal with a Khabib or Tony fight? Like, if one of them won and you had to take on one, how would you handle both fighters?
I think Tony, I would work my top control and avoid the submissions and kind of go from there. And with Khabib, I'd assume he's so good at what he does, you know, that I'd have to fight through some adversity, and I'm really hard to hold down. So if someone takes me down, I'm very good at getting back up, and I'd have to probably fight through that a few times and try to score how I can on the feet, or catch a guillotine or something like that.
It's funny. I saw a Raging Al Iaquinta's interview about talking about Khabib and how he would need big bucks to fight the guy. He's a ranked fighter in the UFC, and he's like, I would need big bites to even get in the big bucks to get in the cage with Khabib. Would you feel that way? Is he that scary of a guy?
Fuck it. He's still a guy, so he's still a human. What's wrong with that? I'll fight anyone, so it's not really that big a deal.
You come across as extremely confident, right? And I've met you in person. You definitely have like a little bit of a swag, right? All right, there we go.
Yeah, I'm listening. Sorry.
Where do you get this confidence from? And have you ever feel terrified in the cage?
Of course. I'm. You're always scared, a little scared, but I just don't really care whether I win or lose that much. I just go out there and I just try my hardest, and I come well prepared and I come ready to fight. So that kind of takes away a lot of the nerves. At the end of the day, whether I win or lose, I still feel like I win. I have an awesome life. I have awesome students. Great family, great wife, so really I have nothing to be ashamed of at the end of the day. I just go out there and I always try my hardest and I always fight with everything I have. So that kind of takes away a lot of the stress looking at it that way.
It's funny, like I always like to ask the fighters when they hear their walkout song happen and they're doing that walk to the cage, how do you keep everything down over there? Oh, we got a guest?
Yeah, I don't even pay attention to the music. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah. So you're just in the zone from the very beginning. Oh my God, was there a boat coming in? There's some feedback. Anyway, so you just basically zone out what's going on and you just walk into that cage. You have a job to get done and that's it.
Absolutely.
When the cage closes, what's going on in the background over there? Do I have to take care of somebody or?
Me? No, I had to give something to my wrestling coach.
Oh, okay.
But oh man, my wife's calling me. That's why.
Jesus
she doesn't
Christ.
know that I had an interview. I'm supposed to be home by now.
All right, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to open up the phone lines. We're going to take a couple of quick calls. We're going to let you go. But I do want to ask you this question. When that cage closes, is it true? Like when the cage closes, does everything kind of like hit you at once? How do you feel when they lock that cage and you're ready to go to battle?
When the cage closes, I just don't care. I just have a job to do. Like I said. I stay calm and I just try to pick my shots and do my thing. When I let emotion get over me and I get overly hyped, I don't fight well. And that's happened many times in my career, performances I've been kind of upset with and things I felt like I could have done better. So when I stay calm, cool, and collected, I do much better.
There you go. Nick Newell live with the MMA Holes. The phone lines are open at 516-522-0267. You guys wanted them open. You better call quick because Nick does not.
Yeah,
have much
I can. I think I can only take one though because I really gotta get going.
All right, one call. Make it good, you sick fucks in that chat. Anyway, let me ask you a question. Now, does your situation with the arm, does that come in handy when you're intimate with your wife? Be honest with me. Do you get a little kinky with that thing or what? And be honest. It's just you.
No, only with your mom.
God damn it! My mom always walks around satisfied. It's ridiculous. All right, here we go. You are live with Nick Newell. Get your question out. What's your name? Where are you from? I think they're scared. All right, someone else calling. Jesus Christ. 516-522-0267. Get in with notorious Nick Newell right now. Okay, so here we go. Let's try this again. Oh, that's a block number. You're live with the MMA Holes and Nick Newell. What's your name and what's your question?
Hey, it's Mr. Mitch here.
Hey.
Just thought I'd call up and say hello to Nick and hope it goes well with getting into the UFC or Bellator. I think it'd be pretty cool to see him in Bellator.
So you're saying you want to see him either in UFC or Bellator, okay? And any question for Nick?
Have you been to Australia yet, Nick?
Actually, yeah, Mystic Mitch is actually from Australia. He wants to know if you've been to Australia.
Oh no, my cousin's from Perth though.
Oh, there you go. All right.
Oh, sweet. Hopefully you could get over here and fight one time and be able to see you, but just wishing you good luck and hopefully you make it in one of the bigger leagues and they pay you a shit ton of money.
There you go, Mitch.
to punch Floyd in his little fucking face.
Thank you.
All right, Mitch. Thanks for the call. Yeah, he's actually calling in from Australia. There you go, Mystic Mitch calling in from Australia.
Very cool.
Would you like to fight in Australia? I mean, that's got to be something else, right? The Down Under.
Yeah, I'd like to just go to Australia and just fight there or not. I'd like to go there, throw around some boomerangs, eat some Vegemite, and have a good old time. Save a baby from a dingo, throw some shrimp on the Barbie, and just enjoy the scenery. You know.
If the money was right, would you fight a kangaroo? Be honest. Would you fight a kangaroo?
And you'd have to only box a kangaroo. You don't fight them. You just
That's
box
true.
them.
I can
But
see you.
thank you for having me on the show. I really am sorry, man.
All right, Nick. Thank you for coming on.
It's 10 o'clock. It takes me like half an hour to get home. I still have to shower. I have to talk to my wife. She goes to bed. I can't. I gotta head out though.
We got you, Nick. Any shout outs to the sponsors before you leave?
No. If you want to see my sponsors, you want to see everything I have, follow my page at Notorious Newell on Instagram and Twitter.
There you go. Thanks for coming on, and good luck in the future, Nick. See you soon.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, there is Nick Newell, Notorious Nick Newell, calling in on the MMA Holes. There it is. That was a picture from McGregor versus Seaver in Boston, and that was that. There he is, the Notorious Nick Newell.